Tragic death. My cousin had always been a victim of occult experiences. Since childhood, he witnessed strange occurrences and incidents himself. He hardly shared those out of fear and hesitation. The only one who heard him was his mother and I. Both of us performed the same duty of calming him down, instilling courage and motivating him to stay stronger. It's been years and he still hasn't been able to come out of that inner fear as the incidents never stopped. I spoke to him today to share my story I recently wrote, which was on similar lines to his eerie experiences. I must agree that mine was much milder than his. After hearing mine, he continued. This was back in 2010, when he had moved from our house in Delhi to one in Greater Noida. His friend took him and his belongings to his own house built in a little secluded place in Noida. Not many residents were there back then, so there was no building close by. The closest one was at least 5 minutes' drive, so he shifted with him in that big house which was double-storied. His friend used to share one room on the ground level with his girlfriend while he was given another one. While in sleep, he used to get up often with the sounds of quarrels between his friend and that girl in the other room. Afterwards, he used to sleep without complaints. However, that became a regular phenomenon, hence he got a little worried. He observed that the girl used to cry in a very painful voice. One day his friend had to go out of town and he requested the cousin to take care of the girl for a few days. The cousin agreed to. He and the girl used to cook, eat and talk, and they helped each other in household chores. One night when he was trying to sleep, he heard her crying the same way as before from her room. He got up. The crying would not stop, so he went to her room to check, yet she kept crying repeatedly. He inquired in the morning if everything was fine and she responded positively. This incident repeated and he got really scared. In a while she knocked on his door and requested to sleep in his room. For her comfort, he slept on the floor and she on his bed. One evening they decided to cook fish, so he went out to get some. Barely 10 minutes after his return, he found that all his clothes, 4 shirts and 4 pairs of jeans, were washed and hung. He asked her the reason to rinse them so quick, and she said they were all washed properly. He was surprised. Nevertheless, they had fish that night and he went off to sleep. Next morning his friend called. When he heard that they had fish, he reprimanded him. He firmly said that she was a vegetarian and never had fish. Hearing this was startling to him. He could not understand. He was anxious, hence he called his mother and told her about his discomforting incidents. His mother calmed him down and told him to return back home if he felt the need. The next day, when he was sitting and watching TV, the girl came and appreciated that he looked sexy. This was unusual again, hence he scolded her, saying his friend won't like that if he heard her, to which she replied if he would come to know he would reprimand her, not me. This was a total shocker. He could not believe his ears and was awake whole night. In the morning, when he related the girl's story to another friend, he advised that she needed to be sent home immediately owing to being disturbed. Out of fright, he wanted to get rid of her presence, hence booked her tickets for home, and she as well readily agreed to go. He left her at the airport and she departed, saying not to go to her room much. He agreed and returned home. While at home, he switched the TV on and felt someone behind him but found no one. He tried to sleep without switching the lights off, and in a moment felt as if a shadow was moving towards the other room. He shouted at the top of his voice who it was. He got up, took a torch and entered the room. He saw that the mattress was pressed on one area as if someone was sitting there. There was nobody. He took the torch to the bathroom connected to that room and saw that on floor there were big spots of acid drops, as if something was attempted to get eliminated. There was a bathtub in the washroom, and in its end sat a girl in dark. He caught a glimpse of hers and she uttered to him, "Leave this place." Aghast, he felt a blood drop in his foot thumb and fainted there. Due to early morning rains pouring through the window upon him, he woke up, came out to his room, packed his things as much as he could and rushed out of that house. After paying a hefty amount to an autowala due to Holly, he managed to flee from there. That night he slept in a bus station and later took refuge to another friend's place. Later someday he came to know that his friend and that girl had come back to leave that house. On its first level lived a tenant. Upon lots of interrogation it was told by him that the house owner was an NRI and he had killed his wife in that wash tub. He had another wife with whom he moved abroad. Everything was clear now, the incidents and the reasons. This story definitely ended, but incidents before and after had remained episodic.